Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Wales of Wall Street. We have an XDC video here. We haven't done an XDC video for some time. Disappointed with myself, but work has been absolute chaos, absolutely enjoyable nonetheless. We're trying to fit in videos when we can. We will try to improve that as the weeks go by for sure. But indeed, XDC being one of our favorites here in our portfolio, building. We'll go into the price point in a moment's time. A bit of a comment that was made the other day. I'm supposed to apparently introduce the things we're going to talk about so people can decide whether they want to carry on listening or not. So for the benefit of that one person, we're going to be talking about eventually the 2022 roadmap, or indeed some of the aspects that are being pulled out as targets for XinFin and XDC. We'll go into that in a moment's time. We're also going to be talking about very quickly in a minute's time the aspect of Datachain and the interoperable aspects of Corda R3, which we talk about quite a lot in relation to XDC and XinFin, and why that is interlaced with XDC in general. Anyway, before we do that, do make sure you go check out our other videos as well. And most recently, of course, the Power Ledger AMA on the right hand side here. Go check that out. It's a really interesting, knowledgeable views from Dr. Gemma there, chairperson of Power Ledger. Very exciting about the energy sector for sure as time goes by. But let's go into this. This caught my eye. One of our fans and one of our favorites for sure, Cryptoc J2, picking out this nice image here, came into my feed. Then of course he randomly tagged me and was like, get involved with these guys to have a conversation, and for sure we'll go into that in a second. But this image was quite interesting, of course, and sometimes it's nice to see images, but what on earth does it mean? Well, Datachain Foundation very heavily involved in trying to build bridges, if you like, between various blockchains. So trying to remove that intermediary aspect, the utilization of AI and machine-to-machine learning and all these cool things that we here at Wales Wall Street get very excited about. And trying to bring that together. Now, through the research of XDC's Medium here in December, one of the key aspects they pulled out as one of the exciting moments of 2021 for XinFin was this part here of Datachain Foundation. So committed to deploy the DC token, which is Datachain's token. Not launched yet, I don't think. We'll go into that in a second. So they'll be deploying as XRC20's tokens on the XDC network for all our projects related to NFTs, metaverses, and gaming. Very, very interesting, because I am a gamer. Very interested in the metaverse evolutions as well as we go into the next few years. And of course, NFTs, everyone's on the NFT race right now. But what was interesting, someone put, what does Corda need the metaverse for? And their response was simply about supporting ecosystems that will be running on different blockchains and smart contracts with different sets of rules than the one defined in the main smart contract. So imagine islands where the law of physics would differ, floating islands, a 2D world in a 3D or 4D reality. So very much taking things to that kind of like, I was talking about like Ready Player One, right? You've got like that oasis, you've got the aspect of what metaverse could be like, but when you're looking at things that are way beyond the mechanism of technology in VR and augmented reality and even XR, these are the things, and I'm not just talking about the metaverse here, I'm talking about many things in blockchain in general, the way blockchain can work around the world. We talk about Tango a lot with IOTA, that the mechanism of a web working together simultaneously. But then when you're trying to do things out of the ordinary, out of the origination of what we perceive as reality and what we perceive as normal, taking our visions and our illustrations in our minds to another level, but also the environments that we enter into another level as well. So when they were talking about here, Brain Cities, who are, I believe, behind the Datachain Foundation technology and everything, talking about building the Nanoverse on top of an enterprise-ready platform. using state-of-the-art architecture to make the integration of heterogeneous, I think I've got that right, information. This is very much a word for things that are different from each other, things that are needing to be bridged and interlaced. Information systems easier and more secured. So this is talking about the interoperability of a metaverse with Corda distributed ledger platforms. This is really exciting. So we've also got the aspect here of utilizing R3 Corda. We know Corda has nodes within XDC, and we know the Datachain Foundation is going to be utilizing the aspect of XDC's network using the XRC20 protocols for projects relating to gaming, metaverse, NFTs, taking things to another level. We know the speed of XDC XinFin, and we know its capabilities of private and public ledger systems. It's really interesting to see the development of this, and the reason I'm pulling this out is because we challenged Datachain. We said, are you ready to perhaps do a conversation with ourselves on an AMA basis? And they, of course, indeed accepted that very quickly, actually. Bit of back and forth here with some memes, etc. But yeah, very much ready for anything. So the team are raring to go. We're going to reach out to them and get a conversation going. I want to know more about Datachain. I've done a bit of research on them, but I'm really interested to know their aspect between XDC, how that's going to work, and especially around Corda as well. So hopefully you guys will join us on that conversation. We don't do videos for money or anything like that here. We're very interested. I mean, I work in the crypto sphere already. That's not a worry to me. It's more learning and understanding more about this incredible space that we both invest in and have a journey within as well. So really excited to see that conversation develop. Let us know in the comments below as well. I'm sure we'll have some posts near the time of questions that you might want to ask about this kind of scenario and situation, what Datachain are about, XDC's interlacing, and of course Corda as well. So that leads us nicely on to the XDC roadmap. So very much branching into things that went in 2021. We're not going to talk about that too much because we've covered XDC left, right and center throughout 2021. I'm really excited for 2022. Of course, you're always going to see NFT conversations right now. I must remind people that NFTs are not just about collectibles and our pieces of art. NFTs can be pretty much anything. The world, in my opinion, anything asset-wise, item-wise, can be essentially tokenized into an NFT format. Even things like houses, cars, all these crazy things that be interlaced into blockchain, from a transactional purpose to ownership to historic information. The list goes on. So I'm looking forward to seeing XDC's development here, and I believe in the roadmap. It's not very clear in terms of timeframes just yet, but there's very interesting goals here at least. So of course the NFT marketplace is certainly on a high priority for XDC. They want to compete with the many projects that are already doing it, but of course they have the ambition essentially and the protocol aspect to push both in a commercial area and a domestic area as well. So I'm really interested to see the competition between them and the ones that are already existing. And then of course there's a couple of other really interesting things here, certainly around the foundation aspect, but also I quite like the XDC Pay wallet improvements. I think what it is right now isn't great. They definitely need to improve that, and I think that's where it does follow on nicely to this more staking opportunities. You know, I'm accumulating XDC as much as I can. I don't have as much probably as many of you out there, but I believe in this project so much, with so many reasons behind that. Go and check out our intro video that we did to XinFin XDC last year about the bullish reasons why. And that was even without all the cool new stuff that's coming out. So maybe we need to upgrade and update that video. But the principles are still the same. The layer 1 system that is XDC is very much venturing into layer 2 formats to be built upon the existing phenomenal system of XinFin. So really excited to see the future developments for that. I am reaching out to the guys at XinFin to see if there's someone that perhaps will jump on a video with us to answer some questions, hopefully a live one, which would be really cool. Because I think there's a lot of people out there that complain almost about the lack of maybe marketing communication from XinFin. I've tried to my best to explain to everyone that XinFin as a company, as an organization, don't really necessarily need to appease us as retail investors like many other projects do. These guys are very institutional based, but saying that, if you're going into an NFT marketplace, especially around art and things like this, you're going to need to start really engaging with a community more so than you have done before. That's all I could say about it, really. If you're going to branch out into more of the domestic and public related aspects of your technology and the information you want to provide, you definitely need to be doing that. But as an investor in what is the system, I totally understand why they are not as hugely active in the general social media world than you may want them to be. For the examples that we've given before, when people said XDC was a scam and everything like this, it was purely my process in the mind to suggest that there's a reason behind it. You see banks reporting internally or to their partners first, or indeed maybe that's it in general, and the public will get the sort of snippets of it, if you like. But 9 times out of 10, big companies, especially from the finance side of things, you're not really going to get too much information for sure. And that's to protect itself, to protect its partners, and what is to come, I'm sure, not just in 2022, but certainly the years to come as well. But those are very general goals. I'm hoping that they do a more elaborate and more visual roadmap for us to take a look at, perhaps even in a quarterly basis. But I'm sure we will see that throughout the white papers that will be generated and improved upon as the year goes by. But hopefully, guys, that's a few things to think and consider about XDC and a couple of its projects externally as well. Let's jump into the chart and take a look at where XDC is right now. Smash that like button if you like what you hear and see, and do subscribe if you have not done so already, of course. So let's take a look at this chart. Well, in general, it's down but not out, in my opinion. For sure, we are coming back into our beautiful range here. You're pleased to know it's payday for me tomorrow. I will, or actually in a minute's time, I will indeed be enhancing my position for XDC, as I have been doing on this downward trend anyway, taking dollar cost averaging opportunities as this bear market had continued. Irrespective of this bounce up, we're very much still in line with the trend line or thereabouts that we drew in a few videos back. It's not fully accurate, it's just more in the enhancement visually to show you the downward spiral that we've been going along since this August-September period, which, bear in mind, we did hit very nice highs of nearly 20 cents, which was absolutely brilliant drive up for XDC. But we're now very much testing, as we said in previous videos, these lower regions where an argument to be had, albeit the data isn't very big here on Qcoin's data, but certainly in the historic information, we haven't tested these areas too many times. So I'm really intrigued to see how much we can bounce around this particular fib retracement level here, around 6 cents or so. But putting up these technical performance indicators on the right hand side, this is a bit of a battle right now. We've seen this battle for quite some time over the last week or so it's no real surprise. But what can we take from this additional data using RSIs and the histogram here to show how much we've been overpurchased or even underpurchased, if you want to call it that as well? For some reason, my 90 days decided to move itself to the bottom, which is really annoying because now it's out of order, but I will do my best to keep this in an audio order as much as I can. So you can see here, between the period of December predominantly, we had a very nice take up, albeit in general didn't last too long before we started seeing a downward trend from the 2nd of January. That entailed us to switch into a bearish mode on the MACD, thus pulling in the sell-off. We had a couple, I think we had maybe 2 or 3 actually, leverage failures, not necessarily with XDC itself, but in the market in general, which naturally, organically pulls majority of the assets down with it. And that's why you see the kind of small wave off. I do believe it was long overdue for many of the projects out there for sure, because we had been so over purchased in the latter stages of last year. It was only probably right that we correct ourselves to try and find the new defined real price of where we should be. So we had the leverage failures, which dragged it down significantly. If you look at it visually, in fact, we'll just double check how much that has driven down. So let's just say from this particular area here on the 3rd of January, after this nice uptake, we've diminished ourselves a good 40-50%. So it's quite interesting to see that. And for sure, let's just check one more thing, because usually we like to see at least 70% on a full correctional cycle. So if we take that top area here and drag it down to where we are currently, very much bang on 72. This is why I'm excited about XDC now, because we're getting a bit of stability. Yes, it's still very slowly, gradually coming down. But in the grand scheme of things, the volumes are reducing. And this, in my opinion, is showcasing a slow wave move off. And hopefully we can drag this MACD back into a situation where we go into more of a positive momentum. So you can see this blue and red here. The arc is coming, or the arch rather is coming. It'd be very interesting to see that perhaps maybe, just maybe in the next few days or early February, we might see a switch over and start carrying XDC more towards that sort of really nice key points like 7.4 cents. 8.7 cents is always a drama. There's always a drama with XDC at 8.7. I'm looking forward to that battle again to determine whether we can hit the 10 cents, maybe, just maybe by the end of February. We'll have to see how that plays out. But the RSIs are looking healthy. The 90-day is looking strong for me personally. I'm very much happy to be buying XDC at these moments because the 14-day is showing 30. The 28-day is showing 38. As you know from my previous videos, I do like purchasing areas around that 40 mark, especially on a 14-day. But at these lower regions, you're reducing the risk significantly, coming down a lot further. And that's why I've been, as I said, averaging my buys on the way down. And I'm very happy with this stable position that it's at right now. Yes, of course, we all want to see things go to the moon. But for those that missed out on opportunities, perhaps this time last year or throughout the areas where it was rising and people now trying to chase their money back in the sense that they've bought it high and it's come down low. This is a perfect opportunity. It's not financial advice, obviously, but a perfect opportunity to obtain more ammunition with such an incredible project. For me, I'm a long-term holder. I'm not going to be doing major trades on this one this year, I don't think, unless it hits significant numbers. But I would very much like to, in the next 2 or 3 years, obtain way beyond the 100,000 mark, hopefully. But we'll have to see how that plays out. I'm bagging as much as I can every month and during the months as well to see if we can do that. But do let us know how you're getting on with XDC. I don't need to know, obviously. Please do not put your exact amounts that you've got, but let us know how you're doing with XDC at the moment. What have you been doing? Have you been buying more? Are you waiting just to see if there's another drop? Let us know. But on these indicators on the right-hand side, which are looking encouraging, albeit that they are all red, is the fact that this weekly is finally reducing itself. Hopefully we can see a green on that. And then I think obviously over a bit of time, maybe a few weeks, we can drag these two down a lot more as well. So it's going to be a few months, I think, probably perhaps a 2-month, 3-month cycle for us to really see a nice mirrored effect of where we are today in a more positive mood. But like I said, it's opportunity. There's always opportunity in these areas. I like things when they are boring. Yes, the roadmap isn't absolutely exciting, but we know what XinFin's about. We know what XDC is about. We know it's about the future. and what is to come. So I'm not fussed one bit right now. I'm just looking at something that's crazily undervalued, underpriced, and thinking, wow, how much longer are we going to have these kind of areaed prices? Will we come down a bit low? We could potentially test these regions again that we saw a bit of a dip down here on the 24th of January, but that's why I've got this buyer in. We've hit it twice already the last few weeks, and I'm leaving it in there just in case, and that'd be absolutely brilliant to try and snap some up at that 5 cent level. But let's see how this battle of 6 cents goes, guys. I'm intrigued, really intrigued, but I do think in the next few days we're going to see some good answers here, because these volumes are diminishing and now it's time for action. Which way are we going? I'd love to see a bounce up effect, not like this, but I'd like to see a nice gradual wave pattern now. And indeed, potentially, I may do some business around the 10 cent or just under the 10 cent mark if we're taking that pattern upwards, to take a small amount, if not my initial profits, from what I'm taking or putting in right now. So we're going to monitor the situation carefully, guys. We're going to reach out to Datachain. We're going to reach out to XinFin and hopefully get some AMAs for you guys, because I love these projects. I love learning. And I think these are big future aspects of both blockchain and especially in the financial world, as well as all the cool stuff coming, like the metaverse, AI, machine-to-machine learning. The list is endless. Guys, thanks for watching. We will indeed, hopefully, see you in the next XDC video. Take care and bye-bye.